Hello, everyone. I'm Trinice Sabine, and this has been bugging me just literally all day. My daughter and I were having a conversation this morning, and she actually uses tarot cards. And my belief system, because I'm old school, my belief system was that, and I guess maybe I've watched too many movies, is that there was a little evil behind it. And so therefore I was like, oh, I don't want that in my house. But once she broke it down and she explained to me, okay, to get that right. Once she explained to me what it meant, and I looked it up for myself, and I guess I could have done that a long time ago, but I didn't. Okay, so once she explained to me, and what I find is, before I go a little further, what I find is when you actually speak to young folks, it teaches you a lot of things. Old school people think they know everything. I'm big, you're little, you're gonna, listen to me because I said so kind of mentality. But I am here to tell you we don't know it all. Nobody knows it all. And you know that. But when you talk to your kids, and in this generation that we live in, it opens your mind up to different experiences, different things, and it teaches you, like I said, that you're not always right. Okay, with that being said, she uses tarot cards, and she has enlightened me on the process. And so I said, well, let me just pull a couple of cards today. It's not the first time that I've actually done it, but it's been a long time since I've actually had a tarot reading. And I asked the question very specifically, what would it look like in the next 6 months in my life, business, family, and just overall my living situation? I pulled a card before I actually pressed send to ChatGPT, and I'm going to cheat here a little bit because she knows, but it's a little bit more accurate when you go through ChatGPT because it's unbiased. It doesn't really know me. So I pulled the card. I can't even remember what I pulled because I don't know it like that. And the first one was upright. That much I do remember. And it broke it down for me. So all of that being said, I'm going to narrow this down to communication. I've never had an issue with speaking to my immediate family. That's never been a problem. But public speaking has always been a challenge for me. Being interviewed has always been a challenge for me. And sometimes speaking off the dome is not the easiest for me if I'm not talking shit. Okay. Those fly off the tongue. Like, ooh. You didn't just go there. Yes, I did. But when it comes to speaking off the dome, and you would think that if one is actually talking about themselves, that it would come easy. It didn't. But it mentioned in the reading that at this point in time in your life, you need to break the chains. It's okay to take up space with your voice. Some people are going to like it. Some people are not going to like it. But you have to understand that your voice needs to be heard, that you have purpose. Now, every time that I open my mouth, it's not always with intention to be an argument. It's not intention to be loud or to be boisterous. None of the above. But when it comes to, speaking in large groups, networking, it has just never been my cup of tea. A lot of times I don't even try. But that communication, out of everything that it said, communication was like, okay, I'm going to work on that in the next 6 months. And then the next card that I pulled was in reverse because she pulled the card. And then the last card that I pulled was upright. Okay, so with that being said, the focus again was on communication. Do it scared. Do it when your voice is shaking. Just do it, right? Okay, so with all of that information, now you've got context. With all of that being said, I have my jewelry in Akin Cooperative here in Las Vegas. I can't stress it enough. If you've not been to the website, you should visit. With my jewelry being in store, this is a slow season. It's extremely hot, not a lot of foot traffic. Okay, I get that. I anticipated that. With that being said, I signed up for marketing. Every now and then they ask for everyone to come in and, let's create some content. Okay. I signed up. I volunteered for it between 12 and 2. I was on time. I even shot some content. And I said, well, you know what? I'm going to put a voice over it. I got my content. When I went in the store, I don't know why. I was not anticipating or expecting for her to ask me to have a seat. Let's do a quick little interview. Like, my mind is all over the place. And so she asked me the very simplest questions. And you would think, again, when you're speaking of or about yourself, that it would just come easy. But when someone else is shooting content and I have no control over what I see, facial expressions, I get nervous. I start stuttering over words. My thoughts completely escape me. And it's just like word salad. I don't understand. I know I should have known when I went to the store that could very well happen, but it never crossed my mind. That's the second time that's happened to me, where I went into the store, and the very first time it happened, I mean, I literally had to just laugh at myself because I couldn't believe that I couldn't answer just one simple question. So she was gracious enough to be able to say, hey, give yourself some time. This happens to everybody. And I wasn't even worried about everybody. I was worried about me. And like I said, when I don't have total control over the camera, I can't physically see myself. And then on top of that, even if I can't see myself, I got past that. You take it to your quarters and you you chop and you screw it. And I know you're sitting there laughing because I'm laughing at myself. But it's like you have no control over, it's going to be a good finished product, but you have no control over what people see and what they're thinking. And I think, too, that's the hardest thing for me. But I went in today and it happened again. She asked me two very simple questions. And the funny thing was, she had looked at my YouTube videos. And I'm like, oh, people are really actually looking at my videos. So that's how she knew to be able to ask me the questions that she asked. But again, I don't understand why I cannot get this together. Now, I have been so focused on getting the product out, doing markets, making a page, creating, a vibe, an aesthetic on social media platforms, that I didn't actually work on the marketing, the branding side of it. And so I'm going to actually just pause for a minute on making jewelry and then work on communication. Like I said, I don't have a problem with having conversation, but when someone asks me questions that I wasn't prepared for, which is about me, it's like a deer in headlights. I can't explain it. So I'm going to put it out there in the universe. How do you conquer that? Do you just keep trying? You keep going? And just like with anything else, the more that you do it, the better that you get at it. It's annoying for me. It really is annoying. And like I said, I laugh at it, and I don't know what the laughter is, if it's because it's embarrassing, for one. For two, you're too old for, this to be your issue. For three, it's like, you should have known better. And that's why I'm like, why do you keep laughing at it? It's like, I can't believe that I have done this again. So hopefully the next time that I'm asked is 3 times the charm. That's really all that I can say. But I pose the question to you again, how do you conquer that? What did you do? And I find that I may end up having to be here a little bit more on YT University in order to be able to effectively communicate. Drop in the comments if you've had this issue, if you've had this issue before, and what you did in order to overcome it to get to the next phase in marketing, branding, in your business, in life, period, in general. I'd like to hear from you. Again, I just wanted to stop by, do this quick little video. No rhyme, no reason, but it has been on my mind. And all I can say is like, comment, share, subscribe, tell a friend, bring a friend. Let's be friends. And ultimately, you'll thank me later.